Would you like to learn how to instantly buy Bitcoin and then easily change it into any altcoin with a credit card using Bitstamp? I'm really excited to show you this because I've been working on learning this and wanting to be able to do this for years. I've finally got a very smooth system down that I'll show you inside of that just worked for me yesterday to buy $5,000 of Bitcoin in just a few minutes. Here's exactly how to do it. I'll show you inside the entire process because I know for me going through this is kind of scary, and it will help to see exactly what steps are needed before you even start. If you'd like me to make tutorials like this, would you please leave a like on this video, because that's how I know to keep making more videos for you just like this. If you have a specific idea for a tutorial, would you please comment and say, Jerry, would you do a tutorial on this? I'm making this tutorial after specific requests asking for this. To begin, I'll minimize my face so you can actually see what we're doing here. I'll show you inside my Bitstamp.net account. Now, first, I recommend before you try and do anything, go through Bitstamp's account verification process, because then once we go through the verification process, we have full access to our account. We can trade at the highest levels, and then this credit card purchase option is available and easy to use. Where do we get to the credit card purchase? On the menu at the top, there's a deposit option once we're signed in. As you can see, yesterday I made the purchase with a credit card, and it went through after the first 2 attempts. Even though I messed it up with the selfie I took, it still went through very quickly and posted to my account within an hour of me starting to try. Now, that said, I did have the verification done beforehand. However, the Bitstamp verification is pretty quick. You should be able to do that fairly quickly and get the credit card done, hopefully in the same day. Now, there are other options that are much better than a credit card I recommend using if you can. That said, the credit card is the very fastest way, once you've already got your account verified, to put the money on. That said, having this kind of access can be a liability in terms of making impulsive decisions at a high fee. Would you please consider this beforehand? Because this could get some of us into trouble. I've been in as much as $70,000 or $80,000 in credit card debt in my life. I'm grateful today I have no credit card debt and am paying this transaction off immediately with cash after showing how to do it. If you can, for the lowest fee, you can afford to wait longer, you can use an EU bank transfer with SEPA. You can use an international wire transfer from most any country in the world to fund your account. You can, of course, deposit with Bitcoin, with Ripple, with Litecoin or Ethereum or AstroPay. What I'm going to show here is specifically the credit card option. This is really nice because it's so fast. If I send a wire transfer, I have to wait. I did this credit card transaction on Sunday. So if I send a wire transfer, I usually have to wait business day or 2. If I do any other transfer, it could take even longer. This credit card option is as fast as it gets. Now, what you'll notice, these credit cards have significant fees. If you check the fee schedule, and I highly recommend checking the fee schedule before making a credit card purchase, if you click on the fee schedule and go down to the credit card, what you'll notice is that if you make a purchase on a credit card, it has a significant additional fee. For example, a $100 purchase is 8%, which is $8. A $5,000 purchase is a lower fee at 5%, but the fee comes out to $250. Therefore, check those fees beforehand. There is a price to be paid for the speed and convenience. Now, once we pick an option on here, yesterday, I chose this $5,000 option. Now, yesterday, I got 1.27 Bitcoin for this $5,000 option. So I'm grateful I went ahead and purchased this yesterday, because today you get significantly less. What happens when you go through this process is that Bitstamp buys the Bitcoin immediately. That means the Bitcoin will land directly in our account. Now, this is not a guaranteed rate. Notice this little symbol here. This is an approximate rate. Yesterday, the price of Bitcoin went up $100 between when I started and when I actually got my Bitcoin, meaning it said I was going to get 1.29. I actually got 1.27. What happens after we click that buy button? Once we click the buy button, we'll be taken over through Bitstamp's payment processing partner named Simplex. Simplex will handle the rest of the credit card transaction. Bitstamp uses Simplex to minimize fraud, because a huge problem with using credit cards is consumer fraud. Consumers buy something with a credit card and then say, oh, I didn't get that, while the consumer actually received the item. Then the consumer fraudulently reports to their credit card that the item was not received. And then the seller, unless the seller has a very serious protocol in place, the seller is usually going to end up making that entire payment back. Bitstamp uses Simplex because, as we see going through this, Simplex has a very serious system set up to guarantee the minimum likelihood of credit card fraud. Therefore, if you are thinking, maybe I'll just do some credit card fraud with this, I wouldn't recommend it, given the process that's about to happen going through here. Now, when we hit the buy button, we come over to here and we have to first fill in our personal details. Mobile phone number, our email address will be automatically filled from Bitstamp, meaning if we want it to be different, we need to change that before we go through this process. We have to then fill in our first and last name, mobile phone, and billing address. Now, be aware the billing address should be the same as the one for the credit card, and preferably the same as the one given to Bitstamp. The mobile phone should be one we have immediate access to receive a text message, because as soon as we hit this continue button, we will receive a text message on our mobile device and an email. In order to proceed, even to making a payment, we have to put in the code we receive in a text message, and we need to put in the code that we receive or click the link via email. Therefore, it's important to put personal information we'll have for the foreseeable future and to get everything verified in a way that we're ready to proceed to step 2. Once we have completed the initial billing info and we've verified our phone number and our email, then we need to put in our credit card. Now, this should be a credit card we have physical access to, because we're going to need it for the verification step. Meaning, if you can't actually put your hands on that credit card, we are not able to complete this transaction. On the credit card, this is standard information: first name, last name, card number, expiration date, and security code. Once we hit pay now, then we get this upload a selfie feature. Now, I actually messed this up, so I'm going to explain it carefully to help you avoid the same mistake. If you see, it says, it looks like very clear instructions to upload a selfie, a clear, high-quality photo, which you can do just using your phone. If you've got an iPhone or a newer Android phone, there's no reason you can't just do a selfie with this, as I did. What you need to do is make a selfie holding the credit card. You can cover up the middle digits if desired. The first 4 and the last 4 and the name and the date of expiration all must be available on the selfie. If we upload a selfie that doesn't have the first 4, last 4, the name, and the expiration visible, our selfie will be rejected and we'll have to complete the process again. My selfie was rejected the first time. I immediately took another one and put it up, and they were very fast in getting it done even on Sunday. Once we upload this file, then we're ready to proceed to the next step. One of the challenges we might run into is, how do we get our selfie off of our phone onto the desktop version of Bitstamp? If you're on a Mac, using iCloud Photos should make it easy. If you're on Windows, I use Evernote because I can just share the photo off my iPhone, stick it in Evernote, and then save it and upload it from there. On the next step, we get this thank you page, and it will say, currently your payment is being verified. It doesn't immediately finish Simplex goes through the verification process to make sure this is an authorized use of our card, because Simplex guarantees Bitstamp the very lowest rate of fraud, and therefore it's up to Simplex to make sure this is an authorized transaction. This comes up and it says it can take up, the authorization check will not be valid for more than 48 hours. So as soon as I saw this message, I thought, great, now this is going to just take hours to get this approved. Why even bother using a credit card? Fortunately, I timed these things for us today. I started this process at 12:23 p.m. yesterday, September 17th, 2017. This entire process finished at 12:41 p.m. on September 2017, and that's with me having messed up the selfie the first time, which added at least an additional 10, if not 15 minutes to the overall process. This would have went through even faster if I hadn't had to take an additional selfie and upload that. Now, I noticed the email immediately when I got it. I took the selfie and immediately put it back up, which is nice. As we see on here, I went and found this frequently asked question. It says, how long does it take to complete a transaction? It says usually payments are processed within an hour. However, some cases require more attention and it could be as much as 24 hours. For this transaction, I used a credit card that was not being used for several months beforehand to do this transaction. One important thing I skipped earlier in between the payment and the verification. Simplex also uses Verified by Visa. Verified by Visa allows a direct interface with the bank to go through the fraud check on the bank side. Now, between the payment and the verification step, what I did, I had to log into my bank's mobile app, or I could have used the desktop interface to confirm the warning by my bank about this transaction. That's why this has such low fraud liability, is that you have to just go in and go through all these steps to confirm that you went through and did it. Therefore, in the middle of doing the payment and the verification, I also logged into my bank account, verified that yes, this is an authorized credit card transaction. So that's very important to note, and I did all that before 12:23 p.m. So the time when I finished the payment being verified and got this screen, and then the payment actually going through, took 18 minutes. It took me about 20 or so minutes before that to get started with this. Once we've finished the process of submitting our payment, it takes up to 24 hours to get approved, but generally within an hour. Now, here's what it'll look like as soon as the transaction has gone through. This message will come up saying your credit card deposit was completed. Click here to see the details. Now, when we click over here to see the details on our account, we can see the status of our transaction. We can see that it's credit card finished, and then there's no account balance immediately, because what it does, it immediately goes in and buys the Bitcoin. Now, take a look. You'll see these two Bitcoin buys on the left side and the credit card deposit. What I'll do over here is show you on the fee. You'll notice that I paid a total of $261.86 in order to make this transaction. Now, that is a pretty high fee transaction. That said, the price of Bitcoin has went up since I bought this more than the entire fee combined here. Therefore, if you need to make an urgent purchase, a credit card can be good. For example, if there's a huge down day and you're certain that it's going to go up the next day, a credit card can be a good way if you don't have the cash on hand and don't want to use a slower method like wire transfer, ACH, SEPA transfer, etc. Then a credit card can be a good way to immediately put some money in, and then when the price goes up, the fee is effectively wiped out. Therefore, the price went up in the last 24 hours enough to wipe out the fee. That said, it's far preferable to have the cash transferred with a fee-free method and then have the cash sitting there ready to go. when you've got the cash sitting there ready to go, you don't need to pay this $250 credit card fee. I would not have paid this except to make a good tutorial showing the maximum possible I can deposit on Bitstamp at once, and then to buy this also when the price was down, especially what I'll show you next. So what you can see happens when you do the purchase this way, Bitstamp immediately buys the Bitcoin, and even though it promised a higher amount, it bought it at it just put in an order to buy the lowest priced orders. You can see I paid 3,708 here, and I paid 3,710 on this one, and I bought the Bitcoin that way. Now, if the Bitcoin price changes a bunch, for example, if the price drops maybe 20%, between when we put our credit card order in and when it actually goes through, Bitstamp promises to just leave our money in cash and then give us the choice as to what to do with it. So there's no worry if the price goes way up or way down between when the purchase starts, which could happen if verification takes 24 hours, then Bitstamp will just put cash in the account instead of automatically buying it at a really high or really low rate. Now, the next step in this process, because what I've shown you here is how to get a hold of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is one of hundreds of cryptocurrencies, and if you want to do something besides use Bitcoin, then what you'll want to do is go to make a withdrawal. Now, once we've bought this Bitcoin with our credit card, it's fairly easy to change that Bitcoin into any other altcoin, many of which might be a much better investment even than Bitcoin, or maybe a much worse investment than Bitcoin also. What I did yesterday, immediately as soon as I got my Bitcoin, then I clicked withdraw. I went over to withdraw my Bitcoin, then I put in the Bitcoin address, I put in the label, and then I put in my verification code in my Bitcoin, and then I hit withdraw. I also had to confirm it via email. Now, what I'll show you next is how to essentially use your credit card to buy Bitcoin, which then can be used to buy into any other altcoin, as long as you get the Bitcoin address and put the amount of Bitcoin in using one of these other 3 steps. Now, once you've done this step to withdraw the Bitcoin, then what needs to happen is email confirmation. So if you get your email confirmation, then when the email confirmation goes out, it turns into waiting to be processed. I timed this as well to get an idea of how long all this works. In fact, you might be able to do all this in about the same length as this tutorial. I started the withdrawal process at 12:49 p.m., which you can see all of this went pretty quickly. Finished this at 12:41. Then I'm ending up doing the withdrawal process at 12:49. Then by 12:59, the withdrawal goes out and is finished. The question is, once we make the withdrawal, what all can we do with it? What options do we have to easily change our Bitcoin into another altcoin? What I'll do next is show you the 3 best options I know of based on each individual preference we have. Once we've got our Bitcoin, we can easily change it into a bunch of other cryptocurrencies, also called altcoins, by using some kind of exchange tool. What I'll do now is show 3 different exchanges that are my favorite to quickly change Bitcoin into something else. I have full-length tutorials on each of these already, and therefore I'll make this a bit shorter. Now, each of these have different advantages in terms of which gives the best price versus which has the fastest speed. What I will do is show you each of them quickly right now. You might ask, well, which altcoin is it worth turning into? Which of these do you think's better than Bitcoin? I am completely invested in Steam, and I decided to invest in Steam when I had 10 or 15 Bitcoin to invest. I decided what to invest in based on these things, which I'll quickly name right now. As you can see, in my Steam account today, I currently have about $68,000, which this is all of my cryptocurrency investment is currently in Steam, because Steam is the one cryptocurrency I know of that makes it possible and simple for the masses to get involved and actually earn money. Most cryptocurrencies, there's no point in participating unless you can invest or trade or speculate. Steam is a blogging and social media platform, which means there's a huge incentive for ordinary people to participate in Steam. Steam is very new. It's only a year old by comparison. Bitcoin is 8 years old. Steam had a huge pump and excitement on it when it first came out. And since then, it's went down to about 25% of the original value. It's about $1 for Steam today. I believe within the next 6 months, it will be $10+ because of all the ways we can use Steam to earn more Steam and to even help people get paid for making blog posts and upvoting. It's incredible, which is I make 2 or 3 posts a day on Steam, which I'm very grateful that my posts make somewhere between $50 and a few $100 every single post. That's why Steam is so incredible. If you'd like to learn more, would you please join me on Steemit, because you'll find all my new blog posts there, all my tutorials, all my latest updates, and you might have the opportunity to make the investment of a lifetime in Steam. The best thing is we can easily, just like Bitcoin, withdraw anything from Steam. Now that's why I've chosen to use Steam as the example in this tutorial. I hope this is useful for you as well if you're excited to get started or continue buying Bitcoin and investing. Now, there's 3 different websites I use to exchange my Bitcoin for Steam. This is exactly what I did yesterday, except I'm grateful my Bitcoin got me a bit more Steam yesterday than this. I use these 3 different websites based on what I'm interested in. Number 1 is block trades. If you want the very fastest transaction, block trades tends to go the fastest. So for example, if you start this buy process on Bitstamp and then you end up going through the withdraw process, you need your address for where to send the Bitcoin to do the withdraw process. If you want to change it as fast as possible, block trades will do that. Block trades has a complicated algorithm that allows block trades to make very fast exchanges, with the downside being sometimes the fee is significantly higher, and occasionally block trades actually loses money if something unexpected happens. Block trades, if you want just the fastest transaction, easiest to do, block trades is the very easiest. For example, on Steam, all I need to do is type in my Steam account name right here, click get deposit address, and then I'll get an address to withdraw my Bitcoin to over to block trades, which then will make almost an immediate Steam deposit in my account. That's the fastest way to do this. Now, if you want a more in-depth tutorial, would you please read my block trades tutorial on Steam or watch the video on YouTube showing my full block trades tutorial. It's pretty easy and you can learn more about it if you'd like to. Now, the second option combines speed and simplicity and a lower fee while taking a little bit longer to complete. On Changelly, it's basically the same as block trades, except unlike block trades, Changelly has transparency about exactly how much the fee is, 0.05%. But on Changelly, the process takes a little bit longer. While block trades transactions will often finish in as little as a few seconds to a minute or two, Changelly can take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes or more to complete. Still, it's the second fastest way I know of to turn Bitcoin into Steam. Now, what you'll notice, I did this estimator at exactly the same time. Now, block trade said 3,189 Steam for 1 Bitcoin. Now, on Changelly, it says 1 Bitcoin gets 3,247 Steam. Now, it's often, if you want the very best deal, you can check all 3 of the websites I'm showing to see which one works the best. On Changelly, you know exactly what fee you're paying. The problem is also on Changelly that when you hit exchange and go through the process, then sometimes the actual amount will be significantly different. For example, it might end up giving me 3,200 or 3,300 Steam versus the prediction. Block Trades is almost dead on with what it says it will give you versus what it actually gives you. With Change.ly going through and actually having to buy whatever you want in real time and then show you the exact fee, the process can take longer and the amount will change as we're doing it. That said, Change.ly, if you consistently want to get the very best rate with the most simple transactions, Change.ly is the way to go. As you'll notice, this is a difference here of $50 or $60 in a fee. This is why Block Trades is so fast, is they charge a significantly higher fee on some transactions and make more money. Now on others, they may actually lose money on it, which I guess covers the higher fee. Now on Change.ly, you get more and you see exactly how much you pay. What I also really like about Change.ly is that Change.ly has an affiliate program. Change.ly actually will give me 50% of the 0.5% fee that they're going to charge anyway if you are kind enough to use my affiliate link, which I've linked to wherever this is at. You'll find this Change.ly link on here, changely.com/ref, and then this specific ID. If you'd like to use Change.ly, would you please sign up for an account using my exact link, because then I get a small portion of the percentage. And I've noticed when I do things like this, I feel good about doing that. I feel good about taking the extra time. It's not much extra time, but I feel good about helping someone else out. Whenever a friend or someone I'm following offers me an affiliate link, I try and go through and use it to make sure the friend gets credit for their referral. For example, my friend Thomas gave me about $1,000 of video equipment recommendations, which I purchased all through his affiliate link on Amazon recently, and that's why I have better quality audio now. I'm grateful that 5 Bitcoin have already, which is almost $20,000, have already went through my referral link. And the awesome thing is when you actually sign up for an account, every transaction you make for life while you're signed into the account goes through this system and is easily trackable. Now, this isn't a fortune in earnings. This has been months and several tutorials, and I've got maybe $30 or $40 worth of commissions on it. So I'm very grateful for each commission for this. If you'd like to use Change.ly, would you please use my link, because you then will know I'm getting half of the fee you're paying anyway. Finally, the best option usually in terms of getting the most for the least is Bittrex. Bittrex is one of the top cryptocurrency exchanges. It has hundreds of altcoins on it that are all immediately available to be purchased with Bitcoin. And what you'll notice when I do 1 Bitcoin on Bittrex, you see 3,318 Steam. Here on Change.ly, it just adjusted the number again, and I haven't actually adjusted the Bittrex number. So Change.ly will usually be very close to Bittrex. But what I can do on Bittrex is actually put a buy order in for lower than the selling price, and I can have the chance to actually kind of make a deal on Bittrex, because Bittrex is a full exchange. So you'll notice 3,318 on Bittrex, 3,255 on Change.ly, 3,189. Therefore, often using Bittrex versus Block Trades on, say, several $1,000s could be worth $100+ in fees. Other times you might actually, one day I actually was buying on Block Trades 20% lower than on Bittrex, and I just did that repeatedly, and then I told Block Trades what was going on after I verified it worked. Now, you can use Bittrex. The problem is Bittrex is the very longest option. So if you use Block Trades, it's the very fastest. You put a Bitcoin on Block Trades, you'll have your Steam or whatever else you're buying out rapidly. If you use Change.ly, it'll take maybe 5 or 10 minutes longer sometimes than Block Trades. And if you use Bittrex, it'll take an additional 10 to 20+ minutes over using Changely. When I sent my Bitcoin over to Bitrex, just the deposit, took about 15 or 20 minutes before it was available. Then I still had to go through and actually make my order as well, and then I needed to go through and make my withdrawal. That said, I usually stick with Changely or block trades for the fastest transactions, but if I'm willing on a larger purchase like this, I consistently use Bitrex to get the very best price. Often using Bitrex, I can get significantly more steam. Now, if I just want to cash out quickly, as you can see, some of this turnover may be from using my own link. I don't know if that's the case or not. If I just want to say cash out in the opposite direction, convert my Steam back to Bitcoin so I can sell that to US dollars, then Changely is a good way to go on smaller amounts. Taking all this additional time on, say, $100 is probably not worth it on Bitrex. It's much better to just use Changely or block trades to make a fast transaction. However, for larger transactions, Bitrex is definitely worth the extra time. Plus, there's a lot more flexibility. On Bitrex, you can buy things that aren't available on block trades. Block trades has the smallest selection in terms of all these that are enabled. For example, you can buy BitShares, Dogecoin, I guess, Ethereum, Litecoin. You can't even currently buy Dash right now, is not available, and several others are not available right now on block trades. On Changely, you get a much deeper selection. If you look over here, there's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero, Zcash, Dash, Ripple, Steam, Ethereum Classic. All kinds of coins are available on Changely. Changely has outstanding selection. You can grab some Pivx on Changely. Stellar Lumens is on here. Tether, you can get Tether US dollars on here. New Economy Movement, EOS. You can get tons of different coins on Changely, but Bitrex has the very best selection out of all these. Now, what happens, Bitrex, the price moves live as well. So in the time since I've posted this, the prices went significantly up and down. For example, since I started doing this, there's a big buy order that's come in for 1 Bitcoin for 3,389 Steam. That's significantly higher than the price I had. So if I click this up here and redo the price, you'll see the amount of Steam drops down here to drops a little bit down here. And then what I'm actually doing is having to go into the sell orders. So if I want to instantly buy on Bitrex, in other words, if I don't want to wait for my order to go through, then you'll see the Steam on Bitrex goes down to almost exactly the amount on Changely. I think Changely might use Bitrex, or maybe it uses Poloniex for some currencies. Changely buys them, as far as I can see, directly off the exchange and then gives them over to you. So these are some of the ups and downs, but Bitrex also is really good if you just want to have freedom to buy a whole bunch of different coins. Bitrex, you can go, here's the markets. I mean, you can immediately go buy into any of these markets on Bitrex. If you want a diversified portfolio, it's very nice on Bitrex. You can easily just buy into a ton of these different ones. Wow, I ended up making something that could take 5 minutes, take almost 30 minutes, but that's much better in terms of Google organic search, YouTube search. The longer and more in-depth the video, the more likely you'll stay watching it longer, the more likely it gets ranked higher. I appreciate you watching this complete tutorial, everything you could possibly want to know about it, about buying instantly with a credit card on Bitstamp, and then having the Bitcoin available to buy into any other currency. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, would you please leave a like on it, because that's how I know to keep making more just like this. I am grateful I have freedom to make whatever I want every day. The videos that you enjoy the most, the tutorials you like reading the most, I try and do more of those for you. If you think there's something better I could do with my time, would you please leave a dislike and a comment suggesting, even if you like the video, please leave a comment suggesting what you'd like me to do next, because that helps me know what I should do for you. If you'd like to see more videos like this, would you please subscribe on YouTube, because that makes it easier to see these in your newsfeed, or like my page on Facebook. if you're watching it there. The very best way is to get on Steam with me. Follow me on Steam, where I can actually give you money for your comments. So if I go into a post on Steam and I can actually give you money just for making a comment. This is why Steam is so exciting, because of the ability to do this. When I look at comments on Steam, I can then go over here and vote this comment up and say, for example, I just voted this comment up right now. The person who made the comment voted it up themselves 74 cents with Steam. So they voted their own, Louise voted his own comment up 74 cents. I voted it up more. He's now getting 88 cents. Thank you, Louise, for letting me know that this was useful. There. So I've posted a comment now, and I can even upvote. I'll just put it on 1%. I'll upvote. I can just with 1% of my total vote, I can give myself 2 cents, which that means if you have 1% of the Steam power I do, or if you have like $600, you can give yourself 2 cents every single time. Now that's why Steam's so amazing. So before I turn this into a complete tutorial on why Steam is amazing again, I better wrap this up. I love you. You're awesome. Thank you for watching this, and I'll hope to see you again soon.